Welcome to the deep dive. So, if you're running a retail brand, maybe with quite a few stores, you definitely know the challenge, right? How do you keep everything consistent?
Right, and engaging, too, across all those locations.
Yeah, engaging and totally on brand. Well, today we're diving into exactly that.
Building that digital signage strategy.
Specifically for those multi-location retailers, we've got this really insightful guide here.
Yeah, it lays things out pretty clearly.
And our mission really is to unpack the essentials for you.
Cut through the noise, so to speak.
Because shoppers now, they just expect it, don't they?
That unified experience, yeah. Real-time info.
And local relevance, all at once.
It's a tall order sometimes.
And digital signage, well, it can deliver that, but...
But only if you're strategic about it.
Exactly. Only if it's done right. Okay, let's get into it. The core idea this guide really pushes isn't just put up some screens.
No, that's right.
It's that for multi-location, the real payoff, the big win, comes from thinking centrally.
About scaling, consistency, and efficiency.
Right. And the guide explains why that thinking is so critical. It's how you make sure every single shopper sees the right stuff.
And your brand looks the same everywhere.
Yeah, identical system-wide. And crucially, you stop wasting hours manually updating screens store by store.
Which is a huge drain. What's interesting is how that central strategy tackles consistency head-on, but it also has to deal with, local differences.
Right.
So the first big piece the guide highlights is standardizing your content across all those different places.
Okay. Standardization.
You need that solid brand look, but like you said, each store might need slightly different info.
So how do you balance that?
Well, the guide talks about using approved brand templates, pre-designed promo layouts.
Got it. Like building blocks.
Exactly. And a library of visual assets everyone can pull from. That keeps the look and feel connected.
Okay.
And here's the really smart part the pro tip mentioned, is using dynamic content blocks.
Hold on. Dynamic content blocks. So you mean you can get the overall brand look, but slot in local stuff automatically, like store-specific deals?
That's exactly it. Think of them as smart placeholders within those standard templates.
Ah, clever.
They let you pull in specific messages, maybe local store hours, inventory notes, a unique offer for that area.
Automatically, from a database or something.
Right, without anyone in the store needing to mess with the design. It balances that consistency with the local touch.
Okay, that solves a major headache right there. So standardizing the look is step one.
Foundational, yeah.
But then how do you actually get that content onto, say, hundreds of screens efficiently?
Right, that's the management piece.
That's where the guide talks about simplifying the remote management, isn't it?
Absolutely. If you're, still using USB sticks or complicated email chains,
Oh, boy.
the guide basically says cloud-based digital signage software with a central dashboard is the way to go.
Yeah.
It's a game changer.
Cloud-based. Makes sense.
The benefits are huge. You can literally update hundreds of screens in minutes.
Wow, minutes.
Schedule content way ahead, even for different time zones. Push out urgent messages instantly if needed.
To the whole network or just specific stores?
Either the whole network or just select groups or even one store. It cuts down massively on labor, costs, and those coordination nightmares.
And mistakes, presumably.
Definitely fewer errors. The guide mentions Retailr digital signage as one example system, offering things like user permissions, analytics.
Analytics too? Good.
Yeah, performance tracking, all from that one online hub.
That efficiency piece is huge when you scale. Okay, third crucial area from the guide. Compliance.
Big one.
Staying compliant, especially across different regions or states, this feels really important.
It absolutely is. The guide stresses that compliance can't be an afterthought. It needs to be baked into the strategy from day one.
Because the rules can vary so much.
Exactly. Different regions, sometimes even cities, have their own rules. And it's not just marketing stuff.
Like what else?
Well, accessibility standards, font sizes, color contrast, making sure it works for everyone, the legal disclaimers on pricing or promos.
Health and safety alerts, maybe?
Yep, those two. And language requirements if you're in bilingual areas.
Okay, lots to track.
But the beauty of that central system we talked about is that you can build compliance checks into the workflow.
Before anything goes live.
Precisely. The system helps flag potential issues before publishing. It seriously reduces the risk of fines or looking inconsistent.
That's smart. And the guide had some bonus tips too, right? For working smarter.
It did, yeah. Quick things like using analytics, actually looking at what content works well where.
So you can tailor things better.
Right. Segmenting content, maybe by store type, like a flagship store versus an outlet store, might show different things,
Makes sense.
enabling local managers to customize, but only within strict guidelines.
Giving them some flexibility, but controlled.
Exactly. And automating seasonal updates was another one. It all ties back to managing efficiently, staying compliant, and using data.
Okay, so pulling it all together from this guide, the main message for multi-location retail signage seems pretty clear.
Mm-hmm.
Success really depends on a strategic approach. You need that central control for standardization.
Yep. Robust remote management.
Leveraging good tools and building compliance in right from the start.
It's about creating that unified network that can still flex a bit.
Right, adapt where needed.
And that actually leads to a really interesting final thought for you, the listener, to consider based on this guide.
Okay.
Given this strong focus we've discussed on central control, on standardization for efficiency, how do you make sure that strategy stays agile enough
Agile enough for what?
to genuinely reflect the unique local vibe, the immediate needs of each individual store and its specific customers? Finding that perfect balance is the ongoing challenge, something to think about.